Let's be honest, the whole thing is a facade. They've got us going into stores, and yet we put down thousands of pounds for items that cost them less than $200 to make. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Sophie. If you are new, welcome, and if you're one of my regulars, welcome back. I got looking into this, I was down a rabbit hole basically. I did a video a couple of weeks back about items I've purchased that have turned out to be quite poor quality, luxury items. And I had a lot of you in the comments saying to me, Sophie, you need to look into this, but actually a lot of this stuff's made in China. And I saw your comments and I was like, really, is it? Because with all of these items, it's always promoted as made in Italy, this bag made in France. So I got looking and I discovered that you're quite right. And when I tell you about this, the biggest lie in luxury, and there are three biggest lies, there are three things that I'm going to tell you about, I think you will be mind blown. The first one is to do with production, manufacturing. If you go back to the 70s and 80s, to me that was when luxury really meant luxury. Things were hard to acquire, those luxury brands were, you know, really up there, they were very elite, they were very luxury, and things were all well made and predominantly made in Italy, in France, in England, etc. But in the 90s, things changed for a lot of, I'm going to focus on Italian brands here, so Prada, Gucci, etc. I'm not talking so much about French brands because I'm going to come on to it, but it's very hard to find actual information regarding them. So I'm going to be talking more about Italian brands. But with time, these Chinese firms gradually decided to expand their niche, and a lot of these places started making clothes for Guess, for American Eagle, for Prada, and for Gucci. This developed still, and a lot of these brands thought, hang a minute, instead of using some of these mills in Prato, why don't we just open up our own manufacturing factories in China and employ people to mass produce our items? Now, I found a really interesting quote online, and I'm going to link to all of my sources below. If there is anything I'm saying that you feel is wrong, please correct me in the comments below. I am going off sources that I found online, so obviously you can't 100% verify everything kind of thing, but a lot of places are saying the same, which is why I thought I'd do this video. But listen to this quote. So in 2010, Santo Versace, a politician, chairman of the Versace fashion house, championed a law that contained a very Italian compromise. If two of the steps in the manufacturing process took place in Italy, the item could bear this valuable label. So if the item was made in China, but it was designed in Italy, and the zipper was put on it in Italy, you could say that the item was made in Italy. I'm not saying that all of these brands do this, because I have no proof of that. If you take Chanel, for example, a lot of their stuff looks to be made in Spain or in France, but there are a huge number of brands that are making things not actually just in China, but also in Eastern Europe, where they can get their costs down and where they can actually manufacture more, because luxury over the years has changed. Luxury used to be something that the few could get their hands on. Now, if you have a credit card, you can go and buy these bags. I'm going to come on to this in a second, but another lie in luxury is exclusivity. Something exclusive should be hard to get. When you can walk into these stores and just buy off the shelf a bag, is that really luxury? Now, I found another really interesting quote before I move on to the next point about how much these bags actually cost to make. And I'm not, why am I not surprised? I'm not surprised. So I found quite an interesting quote before I move on to the next lie in luxury. Found an interesting quote that actually gives us a better idea about how much some of these bags cost. So this is actually in relation to Gucci, but this is a chap that's telling the story of him actually working and leading in one of these factories. And he said that when fulfilling Gucci contracts, the company would pay him an average of 19 euros an hour. He showed me a bag that featured the company's insignia fabric, which with its interlocking G's, and said this fabric would cost 15 euros a metre, but they make millions and millions of metres, so they don't pay 15, maybe they pay 10. The leather here costs maybe 15 to 20 euros. It's 2 euros for the zipper, plus the money you pay us. That's the cost. And they put it on the market for between 10 and 15 times more that cost. That leads me on to the next lie in luxury, and it is cost. When you walk into these stores and you see these items and they cost so much money, particularly in recent years. Price rises on all of these brands have gone up through the roof, and I would say in the last year and a half they've particularly gone wild. But in reality, these bags cost probably not even $500 to make. If you take that quote that I just gave you, that is someone being paid 19 euros an hour. On top of that, the fabric is 15 euros a metre, but they make so many meters of it that actually it doesn't cost that much in the end. In addition, things like zippers are 2 euros. It's short change. Then these brands times that by 10, 15, 20 times, maybe more, and sell it to us unsuspecting buyers. And that for me is one of the biggest lies in luxury. It goes to show, and I've spoken about this before, the power of brand, but we really are all paying for a brand. At the end of the day, that's really what you're paying for. You're paying for that logo that is on the front of your bag. And then the final lie in luxury, if you ask me, and it is that luxury is no longer luxury. If you look at so many of these brands, we have come to a point where when you buy something, and you shouldn't have to do this, but when you buy something, you have to check it for defaults. Whether it's flaps not lining up straight, scratches through the leather, a handle that later falls off, zips that don't work. I've got bags that do all of those things and everything in between. And you shouldn't have to, when you're going and spending thousands and thousands of pounds on an item, you would naturally assume that it's luxury and it's going to be pristine and it's going to hold together, and they are all lies. So many things that I show you in my videos where I do wear and tear, I have got things that have fallen apart, and I look at them and I think I can't sell them because they've fallen apart. I can't sell them because the quality is not good. I can't sell them because I won't get back even anywhere near the money that it's cost me to actually buy the item. Another thing that I think makes luxury not luxury is accessibility. And I'm not talking about our ability to, let's say you take out a credit card or you get paid a bonus and you go and buy a bag. I'm not talking about our ability to do that. I'm talking about the ability to walk into a store and buy something off the peg, buy something off the shelf. Should luxury not mean having to wait for something to be made for you? You know, I talk about Lorna a lot. Lorna is a brand in the UK that I love. And to me, that brand epitomizes luxury, because if you buy one of their bags, they don't just post it to you same day. They custom make it to your actual specific requirements on color, on hardware, and it takes about 6 weeks for that bag to arrive. To me, that is true luxury. Basically, these things are not hard to get. And if you go somewhere like Hermes, where their items are hard to get, it makes it more desirable. It makes it worth a lot more actually as well if you were to try and sell it. But it makes it feel luxurious. It brings back that feeling of what actually luxury should mean. So they are, to me, they're the biggest lies in luxury, and particularly the thing about manufacturing. As I say, I need to thank all of you for that who left a comment under that video, which I'll put a link here in a second. But I need to thank all of you for that, because you drew my attention to it. So thank you. If you have enjoyed this, the video I was talking to you about where I review my broken things, you can watch that up here if you want to, or there's another video here if you want something a bit different. Thank you for watching this. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in one of these.